Alright, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, I have an incredible deck list to show off to you. I picked up Sugar and I made her absolutely broken. What I did was that I found a way to ramp to 10 Dawn by turn 3. This is 2. Turn 3. And the way you do this, right, is you just smack a bunch of events in there, right? That you can ramp when you counter, you can ramp when you trigger, and then you just ramp so insanely fast that you're gonna hit 10 Dawn by turn 3. I'll show you the deck list and I'll explain more in depth to you how this works. So here is the deck list that I've cooked up. It could probably use some tweaking, but this is it's such an insanely good deck at the moment that I don't know what, like, you might want to go even higher on 10 cost, right? Or maybe you want to go even higher on triggers, even higher on counter events. But the way it works right now, it works wonderfully. So what we have here is we have 10 cost Shanks and 10 cost Roger, which are like the two boss monsters of 10 cost, right? In these colors. They're incredibly strong, especially the Shanks. And then the Roger's just good at finishing, and he's just a hard hitter, right? The concept of the deck is that you want to go second. And then you pass on 2 Dawn. You use an event to counter, whether that's these 0-cost events, the Thunder Bagua, this Searcher here. You use those to ramp. You go to 3 Dawn. And then you take the hit. So what you can do is, like, you can use Thunder Bagua, right? Without giving power to your leader. So you ramp with the event, but then you still take the hit. And then you take the hit and you trigger a ramp trigger, because we play like 30 ramp triggers, right? And so you trigger a ramp trigger, you go now to 4 Dawn. And then when it comes back to you, you're at 6, and you only need to ramp twice to get to 8. So you have things like It's to Die For, God Thread, Lead Performer Disaster, Punk Vice, you know, things that just has a trigger already, but are able to ramp you as well. So you use one of those, and then you use another counter event, or if you just don't have a counter event, you can just use double ramp, right? You can just, like, It's to Die For into Punk Vice, or whatever sequencing you have. So you ramp twice on that turn, and then you go to 8, which means you're gonna go to 10 on your next turn, which is your third turn. This is just insanely strong, right? I think there's a way you can do it without triggering, but at that point you're getting so specific with the cards that it's just, you know, too far-fetched. You're better off just putting a bunch of triggers in the deck. The problem with this deck, right, is not that it's a bad deck. It is the way the sim works. The way the sim works, right? For example, these 0-cost events here, right? The way they work in real life is that you're able to play this for 0, not discard a card, right? And just pass on that, and then not gain power for it, whatever. But you're still able to trigger Sugar's event, like ramp trigger, so by using this card. On the event, on the sim, it doesn't work like that. You're forced to trash a card, and you're forced to give power to your leader, which means you're countering, right? And you're preventing yourself from taking that hit, which prevents you from ramp triggering. And it's all just a bunch of bad sequencing, thanks to the way the sim works, right? Like, some cards force you to get power, some others, like, it's really weird how they work differently. But basically the deck is unplayable on the sim. I have a couple of games for you today where I pulled it off anyways, because I drew, like, the right cards that still work on the sim, and I triggered and stuff, and it worked out, and I dropped the 10 cost, and people just conceded straight up, because that's just how strong this deck is, right? If you're able to drop a 10 cost on turn 3, like, of course your opponent's gonna concede. He has nothing to do with it, right? Like, they can't really even swing into it to deal with it, like, even if they put all their fucking Dawn on their leader. So I have 2 of those games, and then I'm gonna show you, like, one of the games where, like, it fucks up because of the sim, just so you can see what I mean when I'm talking about this deck doesn't work on the sim. But I'd probably build this deck in real life just to mess around with it, because it's so fucking fun, and it really, really does work, and it is incredibly powerful. So let's jump into those games and show you just how it works. All right, so this is the first game here against Smoker. We got it on 2x speed because I just want to get over with this. This is the game where it actually worked. But what happened there is I get super punished, but by the fact that the zero cost events don't work the way they're supposed to. Like you can see here that I'm like I'm fiddling with the card because I'm like, why do I have to trash? Why am I forced to trash? And I trash, and I'm also forced to gain power from it, which means that I don't take the hit. So that's just the way the zero cost event works, which is just awful, right? It fucks with us completely. But I'm still able to ramp with the effect, right? With the using the event, and I'm able to ramp with baby 5 here. So I'm already still on 6 Dawn, and here I need to use an event ramp, right? I need to ramp with an event, and I need to also take a hit and trigger, which I do take a hit and trigger here, but I'm forced to trash my 10 cost Roger to ramp one more time. But we are still hitting 10 Dawn here on our 3rd turn, and we're able to drop this Shanks down, and we're able to pivot into going for board here, which is just incredibly powerful, right? Like even in this, like imagine if I didn't have to trash 4 cards with my fucking zero cost events, right? I have 3 cards in hand right now, whereas 2 of them would be 10 costs. He's not really threatening lethal at any point. Like I just pivot into board. I have so much fucking potential here. But because I was forced to trash more cards than I normally would have, it's fucked, right? Like I have the God Thread there too. Like I could have used that to pop the smoker. Like I could have done so much fucking things. But because of the way the sim works, it just still didn't want to work, right? But I was at least still able to pull out the Shanks on turn 3, and then into Roger here is what it would have been if this guy didn't concede just now, because he couldn't do anything about the Shanks, right? So still fucking a good game, but like, oh my god, how powerful would that shit not be if I just fucking had the correct cards that worked unlike they do on the sim. All right, so this second game here is going to be against Purple Luffy, and it's a game where we had the same problem with the zero cost events, but he swung 8, so we were still able to take the hit and do exactly what like is supposed to happen, right? Something that doesn't happen on the sim because the way sim fucking dumb, but it kind of replicates how this deck would work in a real format, right? Where you can do whatever you want. Because you see he swung 8, right? So I'm able to use the zero cost event to ramp, but still take the life. And we trigger ramp there. And then on this turn, you see we have like the counter event as well. We were trying this ulti mortar thing as well, which just doesn't work on the sim because you're forced to do Dawn -2. But otherwise, that's a good like counter event that you can put in that also has a trigger. And so yeah, he's gonna swing there. We're gonna ramp again, and we are gonna take this hit. I think. Yeah, we'll take this hit. So now we have 3 10 cost, and we're hitting 10 Dawn on turn 3, and we're just gonna drop the Shanks because now he can't like free block with the kid. He's going down to 3. Like he could probably pivot into being aggressive here, but we do have like a 2k. We have a 2k counter, right? He doesn't know that we don't have anything else. But like if we had a zero cost event or anything there, which we could have had, and you see in my life as well that we did have 2 Gum Gum Jet Gatlings here, and we would have drawn into a 2k. So there's like literally nothing he could do because we have so much counter. And we're gonna drop another Shanks, which means his entire board is gonna be so weak. And then we're gonna drop a 10 cost Roger, which means his blocker is gonna be fucking useless. So like we're just putting so much pressure on him that he just wouldn't be able to keep up. And that's just how strong it is to just go to 10 on turn 3. Now I'll just show you a game where it's like it literally just didn't work because of the sim, just so you understand exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so in this game we're up against a black starter like Luffy, and this game, you know, worked out pretty well. We have like the good hand, right? We're able to go like counter event on 1, and then we see like a 10 cost, right? And we have the ramp cards. You see, he's gonna swing 8 here, which we like because we're just gonna take that hit anyways. We're able to search into a 2k. We're able to do everything that we want to do, right? We take the 2k and we ramp 1. We take the hit. We don't trigger, but you don't necessarily need to trigger off the first life. You only have to trigger out of the one of the like either first life or second life. So what we're going to do here is we're going to swing 5. We're going to keep 2 Dawn up for Red Hawk. Because at this point, I did not know how the cards worked. And I was like, okay, I have 2 Dawn for Red Hawk, which I can ramp and then trigger. And then I'm at 10. Which would be great, right? But he decides to swing 7. Which, again, great, because we're going to take that hit either way. But we use the Red Hawk, and it forces us to give plus 9k to our, like plus 4k to our leader. With that way, we can't take the hit. And if we take that hit, and it's a trigger, which statistically it's gonna be, right? Like, we ramp to 10 next turn. And we're so good to go from there, because this guy doesn't have a board or anything. So, like, just dropping, like, 10 cost rushers, it's just going to slowly but surely whittle him down, and then we'll win. So this game was literally ours to win, if it wasn't because the way the cards worked, right? So it is a really big shame the way the sim is built, for this deck specifically. But if you build this in real life and you know how the cards work, it's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna build it like straight away, and maybe I'll get you some webcam games so I can show you just how it works in real life as well. Alright, that is going to be it for today's video. I mean, like you saw, it works, right? And it does work much better in real life. It's just a sim that isn't really up to date on the rulings and stuff. But I will try to get you some webcam games as soon as I can on this deck, because it's a lot of fun and it's very strong. Other than that, please like the video and subscribe as well if you enjoyed. And I have some links below as well that you can check out, where I have my Patreon and other stuff like that. So follow me on those as well. And other than that, I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.